All right, we're here with Vanguard head men's basketball coach Rhett Soliday, and this is the 2021-22 season preview. Coach, thanks for joining us here for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Last year, the Lions went 8-4 in an abbreviated season due to the COVID issues that were going on, but you made it to the NAIA opening round. This year, you return a lot of players from that team. 4 returning starters, 13 returning letter winners.
Yep.
How do you sense this team to be going into the year?
Yeah, I think last year, certainly we had our moments where we showed signs of being a team that could make a push for Kansas City, and we had our opportunity to do that and came up short. But, in light of that, we learned along the way, one, we had a group that was just really thankful to be playing with no guarantees, and they played with a ton of gratitude. And because we have a lot of those guys returning, we do have a lot of guys that genuinely play with gratitude and play for each other. And if you have enough talent and you got guys that play the right way, you have a chance to do something special. So we have enough veteran players. We've added a good mix of new guys to the roster. And they really are pulling for each other, and they're playing hard every day in practice. And so I think the opportunity's there, and it's going to be a fun season. So we have enough pieces, but so does everybody else. It'll come down to what we do with it, and the guys are willing and able to get that done, so we'll see.
You mentioned that it's a veteran team. You have 7 seniors, 6 juniors, that's 13 upperclassmen among the 18 players on your roster.
Yeah.
What has it been like for those guys in practices and meetings and things like that in terms of them taking charge and kind of setting the standard for what this year's team wants to be like?
One of the things we talk about a lot is that a player-led team has the best chance to be a great team, and so there are guys, whether we try to intentionally position them in leadership roles or they naturally kind of assimilate into some of those roles. We do have a group that desires to be a player-led team, and that shows up tangibly on the court in just the level of communication you have every day in practice, and the ability to transition from one drill to the next, the ability to get onto the next play, even if a bad call happened or whatever. Like the player-led teams are the teams that transition best to whatever's next and recognize what's important right now. Our guys are doing a good job of that. Not perfect, but they've grown a lot in that area, and I think that ability to transition mentally and physically is huge because of just the nature of the pace of basketball, and it requires a short-term memory, and you got to be ready for the next play. And this group is learning to do that well.
So let's go into a few of these players that we're referring to. The first one that comes to mind has to be Garrett White, returning all GSAC player, led the team in scoring last year. What does he mean to this team? Yeah,
Garrett's everything because he's the ultimate example for the rest of our team of what a self-made player looks like. A no excuses, find a way attitude. And he has blossomed into one of the best natural scorers that we've ever had here. And it's by natural, that kind of contradicts self-made, but by natural I mean he's put so much work into his game that he just understands right shot, right time, right spot, because he's done all of it so many times, and so what looks to be very natural is an earned confidence that he has that he can score anywhere on the floor. And so having a guy that has that combination of work ethic with that combination of production and the character that Garrett has to lead our team is irreplaceable. He's really important.
And then of course we have another big-time returner in Isaac Davis, another all-GSAC player, won the Email S. Liston Scholarship Award prior to the season. So he's got it all together, both on the floor and off the floor. Talk about what he means to this team as well.
Yeah, Isaac is such a great example too for our guys. He's probably the most committed of all our guards in terms of the process of being good, meaning he's eating right, he's taking care of his body, he's getting extra workouts in. He's a quiet, humble warrior, but at the same time, he is also the guy that turns the volume up and turns the temperature up when something needs to be said and the group needs to be challenged. He's fearless in doing that as well. And so he's a great balance of confidence and humility, and that rubs off on the guys too. And then his ability to make plays on the court, not only does he have the confidence to make those plays, but the plays he makes as a passer, as a creator, as a handler for us, it actually gives the other guys on the team a ton of confidence. Like, we have guys making plays at the rim with confidence because of the vision and the toughness and ability that Isaac has. You know, so like, he's our ultimate confidence injector as a playmaker at the lead guard position.
7 of your top 8 returning scorers are back, and we can't, do a preview on this Lions team without mentioning 3 other guys at least.
Yeah.
James Moore, Mossy Mohammadi, and Philip Willis.
Yep.
All of those guys are going to contribute to this team. In what ways are they going to contribute?
Yeah, I mean, huge. I mean, we don't ever talk in terms of who's our most important player or anything like that. They all have equal value, although they provide different things. But James is an example of a guy who's just critically important to our team. His ability to change the game from the inside out, playing in the paint is really, it's incredible. I mean, he's got that toughness, that grit factor, that also gives our team a sense of confidence. He's a confidence injector when he's playing at his level, and we believe he's ready to do that this year. He's gonna have a consistent and really quality year, and he's gonna impact winning in a major way. Mossy and Phil, they're consummate, steady guys that Phil is a guy that he could get 30 in a game if he gets loose and gets hot, or he can also get 8 points, 8 assists, and 9 rebounds in a game, or approach being a triple-double guy. Like, he's got that ability when his motor's really going to be a really tough matchup, and at 6'5" and really athletic, he can get a lot done. And then Mossy led our team in 3-point shooting percentage last year, and he's the prototype 2 guard in terms of, like, if we run him off screens and he spaces the floor well for us and plays in transition and rests him to score, he's another guy that can help blow a game open. And he's such a tough competitor. He's another guy, like we mentioned Isaac and Garrett, that he prepares so hard. He's confident, and he cares a ton about the team's success, even above his own. And so, yeah, those 5 guys in combination, plus our new guys and some returners, they're going to be tough to deal with, I think.
And you talked about returner or new guys coming in. Who should Lion fans have their eye on when they come out here and watch the Lions play for the first time? What are some of those newcomers that we should have our radar on?
Yeah, well, obviously we'll have some other good pieces off the bench, and like Nico Daska and Dominic St. I mean, those guys are going to have impact too in major ways, but kind of coming in and supplementing those guys. We had 3 transfers. So Jordan Caruso is a transfer from Cal Baptist, who was going to have a big impact on their team last year. And then he's just a super smart, high IQ guard that can do it in a lot of different ways at both ends. And then Andre Allen Dre is he's a game changer in terms of his size and athleticism. He's got experience in the Pac-12, having played at Arizona State. He was a JUCO All-American, so he's got a different element that he brings, different from all our other bigs in the paint. Where when he gets, I think he's still in the process of getting back to where he wants to be in terms of fitness and confidence and all those things. But he is every day getting better and better, and he's got the ability to impact winning as much as anybody on our roster, and we anticipate that he's going to be that guy for us. So those 2 guys, and then to go with them, Cody Knox, transfer from Humboldt State, awesome character guy, tons of ability, growing into a role. Those 3 guys are great additions to the roster, and will impact us in big ways.
And we see you practicing out here all the time, and they're spirited, intense practices. In the amount of time that you guys have been practicing as you gear up for your season opener this Saturday at UC Merced, What are some of the things that you feel like you need to improve on? What are some of the things you feel like you're pretty locked in on?
Yeah, I think one of our goals early in the year, every year, is that if we're playing as hard as we should be playing, the defense should be a lot further ahead than the offense. You know, it should be harder, with the goal being that we need to play at a level that is setting the tone that we're going to be really hard to score on, and that even if offense isn't going well, we can always be a team that can say we can always get a stop, and we have confidence that we can stop people. So we're growing into that, and it is true again this year, our defense is ahead of our offense. One of the downsides to that is sometimes you feel like you're playing catch up offensively with getting rhythm and getting familiarity with each other because of the way we pressure each other every day in practice. So I think an area for growth right now is just for us to be able to play with the pace we want to play at, but also with the poise we want to play with. You know, so we always say pace with poise, and capturing those two together early is it's more of an art than a science. You know, and so we're figuring that out. But I do anticipate, based on our improvement in the last several weeks, that we'll be ready to play a good offensive game come game time on Saturday.
Now let's go into the schedule, because you talked about some of these things that you want to blend together and kind of mold together to become the team that you're looking to become over the long term. You start out with UC Merced on the road, and then you come back here for an exhibition against your alma mater, Concordia, on November 3rd. And then the regular season home opener is against a team that is ranked in the NAIA national poll, which just came out today, and that being Jamestown out of North Dakota. You also have another home game here against another ranked team in Talladega. So when you put this schedule together, kind of what was the goal in mind for non-conference?
Yeah, I think the goal was a combination of getting top-level NAIA opponents that we knew were going to be players on the national stage, so that we could, twofold. One, those are important games to show the value of our team early in the season, but two, they get you ready for conference play, which in the NAIA, that's always been the most important piece, is, you know, whether we win or lose those games early, how we finish in the conference is ultimately going to dictate where we finish on the national stage. And then those preseason games against good opponents can sometimes be a separator. But they don't hurt you. It only helps you to play really good teams early. And so those will be awesome tests. Those will be great to find out where we're at heading into conference play. We'll have some GSAC games before even Talladega. So that Jamestown game in particular, and then playing Antelope Valley, who's a really good team as well, among others, will be a huge opportunity for us to just see where we're at. You know, like Jamestown, for example, they're worthy of being a top 20 team. They had a great finish to the season last year. The GPAC is a great conference. They start with two foundational blocks you'd want to have for building a great team. They've got a great center, a great inside player, and they have a great point guard, and then a lot of other really good players to go with them. So they've got all the pieces, so we'll get to see where we're at, you know, in relation to them.
And as you mentioned, preparation for the Golden State Athletic Conference, the GSAC, always a very strong league. You go into this year, and there's two teams right now that are also ranked in the top 25. You have Arizona Christian, which I believe made the national tournament last year, along with you guys, and the Masters. And Vanguard right now is receiving votes. I believe they're 30th in the country. So obviously three really strong teams right there. How do you see this race shaping up this year with those three, and then also anybody else?
Yeah, man, you know, one year we started the year as the preseason #1 team in the country, and we didn't make the national tournament that year. You know, we had some injuries and other things, and just didn't put it together. 2 years ago, I think we were picked to finish 7th or 8th in the GSAC, and we were on the road our last game of the season playing to win the GSAC, and came up just short, finished second, but we were a top 10 team much of the year that year. And so the one thing I know about the GSAC is none of that means anything. I will say that the two teams ahead of us are more than worthy of receiving the attention they're getting. I would say that we're no more worthy than any of the teams behind us of receiving votes or being in the position we're in right now, because the reality is last year the conference was, you know, we didn't have everybody playing each other. There was 2 divisions in the conference because of COVID, and everybody's recruited well. It comes down to how the mix of players works together. So many of those factors are at play, and so we always tell we're only as good as our next 40 minutes. And so it's about what we do every day to be in position to, at the end of the year, February, March, to receive that same attention. And so as I look at the conference, I think, off the top of my head, I can't recall who was picked 7th, but I know that team, I think maybe Ottawa, Ottawa could win the GSAC this year. They have a really good team. I think they were picked 7th. Jessup, you go all the way through the top 7, 8. Menlo, new coach, great program, great history as of late. And any of those teams can make a push and compete to win the GSAC.
You heard them, Lions fans. Get out here loud, get out here early for 17 home games here. Coach Soliday, thank you for taking time, for sitting down with us. Good luck to you this Saturday in your season opener.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
And we'll be looking to follow you along.